Today is day 4, October 9, 2019, Wednesday. Current time is 12:04 a.m. No, it's actually not October 9 anymore. It's October 10 because it's 12:04 a.m. But this is for October 9. This record is for October 9, 2019. Total bedtime is around 4 hours and 30 minutes. I honestly feel like I barely slept, but the thing is that whenever I barely get any sleep, I remember more things. And yeah, bed start is at 7:20 a.m. I remember feeling this not so bad feeling. Could be about me watching a video about Gala Ranzal, and then I can't remember anything else. I woke up at 10:16 a.m. The lights kept flickering because the electricity was going on and off, which resulted to me having a hard time sleeping. And this also lasted for like morning until the afternoon. So yeah, and also I had a hard time sleeping because it's hard for me to sleep in the dark. I can't remember when exactly I went to bed, but then it's another wake up at 11:45 a.m. And this short span of sleep of about an hour had so much in it. I honestly think that the dreams are stronger when you or when I sleep, then you wake up, then you go back to sleep because I've been experiencing this a lot way before I decided to do this recording thing. Would also like to mention that the power went on and off and when I woke up, causing flashes of light from the light bulb into my eyes, possibly what woke me up before I went into this. Also, I forgot to write, I did have my background sound, thunder, rain, wind on the trees, and then a river and then the ocean. Yeah, also I'd like to add that I can't remember when exactly is this, but it's around today. But when I sleep in the dark, I feel really scared. And when I wake up, I would still feel scared. But then when I heard the sound, the background sound of the ocean, the water, the noise, it actually went off right away instead of it actually lingering when I wake up. So yeah. I also don't like it when lights go on and off, so I got up, saw my reflection in the mirror, and it was dark, and I hurriedly turned on the flashlight on my phone. This is real life. This is not yet a dream. This is real life. And seeing mirrors in the dark doesn't go well for my creative brain. Now this is the dream start. I was in my room, no electricity, was screaming so hard because I couldn't move. A fear I've had back when I was younger, where every time the power goes off, I would freeze. I would like when the power goes off and I don't see anything, I just freeze. Like I still panic now, but I don't freeze anymore. Like I actually try to do something to get some light, but I still panic a lot. I just don't show it. This felt like something that happened to me back when I was a kid. I'm not sure if it was actually a dream, but to cut it short, I was in a relative's place. I fell asleep, and everyone in the house went out to like a party or a celebration. I woke up in an extremely dark place where I could not see anything. I was so scared of something, but there was really nothing. It was just dark, no scary images, no sound, just dark, and me screaming like a fucker. Someone eventually opened the door, and that was that. I don't know if this was actually a dream, but I'm very certain that this was real life. This is also. I get these dreams where I'm scared of something, but there's nothing there. And I think it stemmed from this experience, back when I was a kid. Like, I would get dreams now. I feel like I've gotten like a total of three where I was so scared of something, but there's really nothing. I'm just scared for no reason. And I actually call that the void, the void something, because I'm just scared and I cannot image whatever it is I'm scared of. Back to the dream. There was no power, really similar to the real life situation. I was screaming. I got up, I got out of my room, and I screamed and ranted in anger as I used to do every time I'm angry. I used to. I don't like doing that anymore. Eventually, I get back to bed, but I couldn't fall asleep. Again, very realistic. For some reason, it felt like it replayed when the light on my phone was off, so I had to turn it on again. But this time, it was so hard to just get the thing done. Like, turning the light was so hard because I guess that's just the dream logic. You just have things in a dream are just so hard to do than in real life. This is also when the scene became into a horror scene. Like the feels of the dream was horrifying. While I was laying down, there was a girl. I lay down in bed. While I was laying down, there was a girl in the mirror. In this freaking mirror, and like in the third one because it's divided in three. It's the third one. Take note. This was dark, very minimal light. I looked back and saw C was sitting behind me. It was her in the reflection. She then stood up and got out of my room. Like, it's not like she stood up and like walked. She was like, and like rushing to get out of my room. And my sight followed her. So that's my door. I followed her. That was my bed. I saw her there. And then I looked at her as she walked out of there. I followed her. She went out the door and I told her to leave it open. I remember this scene as I was writing this on my phone and had to leave the door open because the power was out again. This was in the morning. Then I looked back at the mirror and saw that the reflection is different now. Now there's a kid and the background wasn't really my room. I was still in my room, but the image in this mirror was not my room anymore. It was like an abandoned house and it looked really dusty. I assumed the reflection was another reality in the current time in the dream, like as if it was a portal to another place in the same time. I don't have water. I tried to get the kid to come to me, playing with him and trying to lure him into the mirror. The kid was scared but still playful, so what I did was run outside of my room hoping he would follow, and he did. He went out of the mirror using the right mirror. Again, this is divided into three parts. The small one, the big one, there's another small one in there. So he went out in a third mirror. I kept running outside my door and stopped to hide. The kid followed me, and as he went out of the door, I instantly grabbed him by the shoulder or arm, and asked who he was, or at this moment, who she was, because apparently the kid is now a little girl. She was in a dress similar to the girl in Dream 2. Like the zombie girl in Dream 2. But she wasn't scary. Now, in this dream. She then went back to being a boy again. He had that semi-bald cut. It's like what we call a semi-pow in here. And had round, cute eyes. Looks like the son of a relative friend. Like he had a similar face. He had a familiar face. I kept asking who he was, but he didn't answer, so I asked who his parents were, and he seems really scared to even talk. I kept asking, but he then fell down, like he fell down by the side, and he was crying, and he was maybe puking, and eventually he said a name. M. Hilde. Like M.Hilde. Now, that's probably not what he said, but that's the similar sound that I could remember. Like, when I woke up, I remembered it, but as I was writing this, I eventually forgot the name. I should have written the name first before I started writing the story. So I got him up, and people in the house didn't give two shits that there was some random kid in here. Also, this is when I felt that this wasn't the first time something like this happened. Like this thing with a kid randomly appearing here wasn't the first time. But then again, I don't know what or when was the first time. I just felt it. It could have been the girl that the image of the boy was when he went out of the door and turned to a girl and before turning to a boy again. I don't know. So I got up, searched the name on Facebook, and found a person who was live playing Dragalia Lost. I then asked the kid if that was his father. I was like pointing. I don't know. I was typing in the computer, but then I was like pointing the phone into the kid. Does your father? I was asking, does your father play this? He was very undecided to answer, and I was getting really impatient because I just wanted to return him to where he came from, which was kind of stupid because I was the one who lured him out of the mirror. Dream logic. Now, as of writing this, which is in the morning, I also noticed that the kid never really said that the person he mentioned was his parent. I don't know if it cut after this, but I remember being back in college. I don't know if this scene was before all these things happening right now, or if it was in between. I was in school, saw some schoolmates, 4 guys, I think. 2 I can tell were high school batchmates. One greeted me and one did not, and I got sulky for some reason because of the dude that didn't greet me. Let's call him D. He was sitting with crossed legs, and he said as an excuse that he had an accident that this is gonna sound really like out of the blue. He had an accident that ripped his right butt cheek, and it had a big ass cut. That's why he was sitting with crossed leg. The scene also suddenly shows a scene where he was laying sideways, showing his big cut in his butt cheek that spewed out a lot of light green liquid. Like, I'm getting like face chills right now just thinking of it. Now it's back to the kid scene. I was still trying to contact his parent. As I'm about to get into this computer, the kid was touching this chair, my mouse. Oh no! Did I move the microphone? Yeah. The mouse, and then also the desk. Which is also the desk, which effed me up so much because I don't like people touching my stuff. It gets dirty and I don't like it. And randomly, my relative Y enters my room, proceeds to lay in my bed, and again, it pissed me off even more because I explained to her why I don't want people to do that, and she cut me off while I was explaining, saying that it would get dirty. Like, she said it would get dirty. So, girl, why did you like lay in my bed if you know it will get dirty? Why you do that? I was actually thinking of this issue of mine, about getting things dirty, while I was writing my this actual issue I've had a long time, but I was thinking about this like last night or a day ago while I was making my way down to riding my way back here from the gym, either last night or the other day. So that could have influenced this scene to occur. Here he what was this? He responded, but it was, what's going on? Yeah, it goes back to like me trying to contact the parent, and it was so hard to make conversation with him. Yeah, I asked if he had a kid, and he said yes, he does. Adding to the message that was in Messenger that they were having a party and they were going to celebrate somewhere and gonna eat some Jollibee, but he was actually mocking and said this in a mocking and in a very sarcastic way, and it's like he was indirectly trying to say that they were poor, but the message also felt like he wanted me to return the kid so that he could lure me. That's creepy. So I went outside. It seemed like the time in the dream was the time of the fiesta, which is also this month. I climbed up, left the kid down there to wait. I climbed like somewhere outside of our house. Like it was so freaking high, but I just got there. I got up there and it was freaking high. Yeah, as I said, I could see an entire baseball field from the top, just in our neighbor's area. There was some kind of pageant going on for both male and female, and one of the dudes I recognized from afar which isn't possible in real life because I'm nearsighted. And so I cheered for him, yelling his name. He smiled at me back, and let's put him in the name of E. Then the opening prod started. Also, I think they were wearing like white and red. It just kind of popped in my head right now. Then the opening prod started. I was just screaming like as if I was in a party, but the people around me weren't really hyped. And it's pretty much how real life happens for me. Like I'm like super hyped, and like people are like, "The fuck?" Then I saw R, who was trying to follow my cheers, but he was confused. He climbed up to the platform I was in. I was like in this platform, like this was way up high there, and I was in this platform, and he was like down here. So he climbed up. He climbed up. Yeah, at this point, I was actually starting to feel my fear of heights because it was just like this piece of cement platform that we were at, and literally nothing to hold on to. It was just like some cement platform floating at the very top. So I like, there's nothing to hold on to, so I could just like seriously just fall down and just oof. Then I saw an old friend way before, like back when I was a kid, K, and I wanted to get down from the platform. I was asking him to help me because by the time I was already trembling because of the fear of heights. He went down and playfully said that he wouldn't help me, but he eventually did, which was literally one little hop. I just like in this very high platform. I hopped for a bit, like a little bit, and then I was already in the ground. Yeah, I was holding his hand with my left hand, and I just whoop, and I was in the ground floor. Dream logic. I went back to the kid and saw he was covered in a blanket laying on the floor as if he was cold. He walked around the area outside and then he got hungry. The people around me agreed with me to not feed the kid as we don't know if he's allergic to anything or if there's food he was not allowed to eat. I then get back to my phone reading a message from the parent. His message was in a list of 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 had like 2 lines. Number 2 was a bit long. And number 3 was also about 2 lines as well. I read number 2 and it said, I have Aoi, which is a character in Dragalia Lost, and seems like he was listing characters from Dragalia Lost. So it definitely seemed like he didn't really care about his missing kid. This was when I realized that this was a dream. Like I eventually understood, okay, this ain't making no sense. This must be a freaking dream. And so I got up, and I also felt I woke up. I felt my right arm kind of have this electric paralysis, but it was probably because I was sleeping like this. I had a pillow and my arms were like that. And then eventually I realized that waking up was kind of stupid because I should have read the message because I could seriously have read the message if I had focused, but I didn't. Yeah, and I woke up at around 11:40 a.m. And that concludes day 4. That was so long. In a very short, like I don't know, 2-3 hours of sleep. That was such a long story. But yeah, that was day 4.